Welcome. Another podcast at Shapiro TV, and we're doing it not in the podcast studio. We're doing it actually out in our space, and I hope you like the way it looks. If it does, send us a little comment, DM us something, let us know. Cool space. This is we call this a leverage lounge here, and if you see outside, you can see leverage on the side of the building, which is what makes real estate so great. So I want to welcome my new best friend, okay? We did a video. I actually did a reaction to you, and it went viral. So welcome.
Thank you, man.
Okay? Tell everybody all about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Ray Butler. Basically what I do is I have a company called the Vault Group, and we get people anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000, 0% business funding. I have a sales background. I own about $1.4 million worth of real estate right now, about 13 units under management. So I believe in what you're doing. It's definitely the way to go. It's for long-term wealth and cash flow, man. That's what we're doing it for. So that and equity. So I agree.
Tell everybody how old you are.
I am 26 years old. Yes, sir. 26.
Guys, so for all you guys that have really hot daughters, okay? And Ray may not have a girlfriend. I don't know. No disrespect if he does have a girlfriend. You should be DMing him. Meet my daughter because he's a good catch. Because he's doing everything the right way. He's building his net worth. He's creating cash flow. He's working his motherfucking ass off.
Yes, sir.
So they can give your daughter everything that she wants, but she needs to be an 11. And I got to vet her. All right? So how did you get into this space?
Yeah, so at the age of 9, so I was born and raised in Mobile, Alabama, and I was a welder.
I would have never known that.
Yeah.
Mobile.
Yes,
Mobile,
sir.
Mobile,
Alabama.
Yeah.
I was born and raised there, and I was a welder at a shipyard from the ages of like 17 to like 20, 21, and it was every day just grinding, like 60, 70 hours a week. And I bought my first house at the age of 19 years old.
Wow, amazing.
Yes, sir. And it was actually an FHA loan. I lived in it for a year. And then during that year, I was just working on it, just putting 0% credit cards, just trying to swipe it to buy material to work on the house. So after about a year or so, I moved out. I put a tenant in it, and the house cost me like $700 a month, and it gave me $1,600. So instant cash flow, and then amazing. I felt for the first time what it felt like to not have to work for money. It was just a drip. And then that just set me off. I was like, okay, there's a different way to live. Instead of, just having to work 70 hours a week every single week for the rest of my life, I can turn this money that I'm working for into assets that pay me every single month. So that's where I came from. And then I started a pressure washing company, got introduced into sales, door-to-doors. And then my wife and I actually got married very young. I got...
oh, wow. Sorry. Disregard that.
Yeah.
No cheating. Okay? I don't condone that.
Right. So I got married at like 20 years old, and we actually moved to Miami, Florida, and I met up with one of these really like big influencer guys, and I got into sales. Long story short, I went from a low-tier sales rep to a sales manager. They flew me out to Arizona, and I took their Arizona satellite office from $4 million to $27 million through sales. And then through that, the whole time I was buying real estate. Like I bought a duplex, and then I bought a 10-unit apartment building in Bama. Yeah, in Alabama. So
in Alabama.
Yes, sir. Just because I knew the area, like I didn't know, if I don't know the area very well, I'm very like hesitant to go buy there, obviously, because I don't want to buy in some trash hole area. But yeah, now it's 13 units under management, and
all in Mobile.
Yes, sir. And it's good because like I started small. Some people say start big, buy 50, 100 units on your first deal, which works for some people. No, nothing against that. But for me, I realized like I started with one. I got confident. I got a 2 unit, and then 10, and then I'm just gonna go keep going from there.
So is it Roll Tide?
Oh yeah,
Is
for
it
sure.
Roll Tide?
Yeah, gotta be.
So we've never actually done anything in Mobile. We like the market. But we've been in Birmingham and Montgomery, and we like those tertiary markets.
Yeah.
We see the economics actually work pretty well. The barrier of entry is pretty low.
Yes, sir.
And then the price per square foot per rent is much higher when we're using a Section 8 resident. So are you using Section 8 for your properties?
I probably should on some of mine, but I haven't. What my strategy has been is I buy in a decent area, but I buy like a house that has some upside if you put a little bit of work into it. So what I do is I get a credit card, a 0% credit card.
Right.
And there's a way that you can liquidate credit cards, and I would liquidate the credit card, come up with the down payment. I would put that down on the property, and then I'd get another credit card and completely rehab the property to the studs, all the way, and then make it a really pretty, like, beautiful property. And then I like to go towards like luxury type of people, high credit score, high income, and that's worked pretty well for me because the type of tenant's not just destroying my properties. But on this 10 unit that I have, I'm probably going to start looking at a bit of Section 8 just because it is a lower tier. It's like, I would say it's like a low B, maybe C-ish class, which is nothing wrong with that, by the way. It's just like I haven't played with Section 8 too much.
So I want to give you a fresh take on Section 8.
Yeah.
Because the reality that most people have is they believe Section 8 is a lower tier resident.
Yes, sir.
They're actually not, because they're typically a single mom that is working, gainfully employed, that needs a little assistance, and that's what the program is for. So when they get that voucher, okay, and it's a Section 8 voucher, and it goes with the resident wherever they want to go, they typically are a very good resident, okay? Now, we don't use the word tenant. We teach people to think differently because we want people to understand that they're creating community in what they do.
Makes sense.
Okay? And when you bring that person in, they're super grateful for the opportunity. And there typically is, based on market rent and based on Section 8, there is definitely an anomaly between there.
Okay.
So you should look at what the market rate for the Mobile market is.
Right.
And then look at what the Section 8 rate. You might be pleasantly surprised. There's a spread. Now, if they get that voucher and they violate the rules under their lease, they're never going to get the voucher again. And most people are super apprehensive to do that. Now, Section 8 will pay 80%, 90%, and 100% of the pay rate of the rent. What we teach is we have our mentees, we put certain provisions in the lease, and we've gotten every Section 8 office that we've worked in, and I'm working in about 41 different markets, to allow us to add these add-ons to the lease, like a lockout provision. We charge $150 for a lockout provision. So if they need to rekey the unit, doesn't cost us anything. A minimum maintenance cost of $150. And then we put in a catch-all. It's called a pride of ownership catch-all. And they have to maintain the property to the integrity that if they were the owner. And then once we're stabilized and we're satisfied with that resident, we offer them what's called rent-to-own, where we let them rent the property for a 5-year lease. That's 60 months. And if they make 60 on-time rent payments, we give them the option to buy the property at 90 cents on the dollar.
Wow.
So it's a social program, socially conscious, and then it takes the headache out of us worrying about the asset. And it creates a real situation where it's a win for both sides of the transaction.
That makes sense.
Yep.
That's I've never known that about Section 8 at all. I thought it was totally different.
Yeah. So take a look at it. Take a look at the market and see what your options are.
Yes, sir.
You might be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Super pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, because I was told about, like, because on that 10 unit specifically, the units are small. There's like a couple studios, a couple 1-bedrooms. I think there's only 1 or 2 more than 2-bedroom or more than 1 bedrooms. So I know that Section 8, isn't it like per size? They pay like a certain amount per size. So yeah, I need to look at that. That's really
What's the zip code? You know the zip code?
I think it's I have to double check it.
Al, are you on your computer? Do you know how to check rents on HUDuser.gov? No?
Let's see.
Dre, could you bring your computer over here? And I just want to prove a point to Ray.
Yeah.
I want to give you a zip code. I want you to show Allo how to look up rents on HUDuser.gov. This is how simple it is. Do you mind? Are you in the middle of anything? HUDuser.gov? No. Oh, are you going to show her? Okay. Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
What you might find. It's pretty amazing. So we found where we have a lot of our mentees going to St. Louis, Missouri, and they are crushing it there.
Really?
Yeah. One of my mentees bought an 18-unit building there. She started with one, a single, and she bought another single, then she bought a fourplex. We applied all the same principles as fourplex. Where are you going, Dre?
Alabama.
It's Alabama.
I'm sorry? Mobile. Mobile.
Mobile. Oh, I know that county. What is that? Birmingham?
No, it's
No.
it's south.
Yeah.
36604.
How many beds?
It's 10 units, so it's like
One beds?
yeah, one beds.
All one beds?
All one
Yeah, there's
bed.
like
Hold
one
on, don't tell me what the rent is yet. What are you leasing them for?
It goes anywhere from 700 to 900 a unit.
What's the Section 8 rent?
810 is on point.
810?
810.
Okay. All right. What are the two beds?
What's the two out?
And where are your other two properties?
990.
The same place, but not in the same zip code. Let's
Different.
see.
We got another zip code for you. Mobile, different zip code.
Wait, ready? 990 on the twos and what are the threes?
990 on the twos.
1310 on the threes.
All right. Check this other zip code.
36609.
And what are these? Three twos?
These are 2-2s. It's 2-2-2s.
So the other houses are 2-2s?
I have a 1-3-2, which is a house, and then I have a duplex that's a 2-2 on each side.
Okay. So what's a 3-bed go for? In that zip? 1440. What are you renting for?
1645.
1645. Okay. So good. And what about your twos?
The 2-2s are going for 1500.
What are the twos? Yeah, you're good. Got it. Okay.
Great job.
So you're doing the right thing.
Yes, sir.
So
And they're
you can never spend enough time making sure you're always in the right space. You're always doing, the right things.
yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah, we put a lot of effort into these properties too. So I mean, it all looks good. I like owning really nice property. Like when I see it, I want it to be pretty.
So it's funny that you say that because my mentality is always when we buy an asset, we are always going to be the leader in the market.
Yeah.
So we may go in and we don't buy C's, but we typically will buy a B minus, and we'll buy that and we'll go into the marketplace, buying that asset, and we're going to push that to be the highest rent per square foot in the marketplace.
Yeah.
But we're going to give the actual most services to the resident and do a lot of things that most of the other owners would not do in that marketplace. And we're going to pull people once we do our high-end renovation, rebrand the asset, and push it back out into the marketplace. So,
I agree.
and one of the things we have is it's called the 24-hour promise that if you do have a maintenance issue, we will fix it within 24 hours. If not, you get a $25 voucher credit on your next rent.
Wow.
So, yeah,
I like that.
we stand by it. We've given out a few of those vouchers because,
Sometimes it's hard to get the
market,
AC guy.
sometimes you have days where it just gets crazy.
Yeah, no
So-
doubt.
And I'll get pissed off at my property management partner, but we're okay.
Yeah, I'm been there. What are your thoughts on property management? I've always had property management. I've never self-managed a property.
So I self-managed from the day I bought my first 3 units, and I've never looked back. So we are always managing our own assets. no one is going to be as good as you are. No one is going to be as frugal as you are, and no one is going to be as focused as you are on yours, as long as it is your deals. Okay? If you are doing your own stuff, I think you should, try to stay hyper focused and manage your stuff.
Okay.
So it's going to give you the ability to control the value of the asset. It's going to give you the ability to control your expenses, because PMs are typically a little too aggressive. They spend money like really aggressively. So, and I'd rather have my own mentality, my own people, my own team in there. So, and that is it's a tough business. It's a shitty business. I hated when I was managing my own assets. And the minute I decided I was going to just focus on doing deals and go in-house, it changed everything for me. We just started to grow super rapidly.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because the quality just skyrocketed.
Yeah. When you're spending your days putting deals together versus spending your days, turning over units, trashing out units, changing locks, it's a whole different mentality.
100%.
And when you didn't do that, that's a way for you to actually leverage up to a much higher level. So who are your number one 0% interest card banks besides Chase?
Oh yeah, so basically at the Vault Group, what we do is we get American Express, Chase, and U.S. Bank, and what we do is we have decent relationships with these guys. We have business relationships, so we just forward your application to an individual, and that individual will go through everything very, very particularly, and then by the time you get to the application, me and my guy Alec, we're so on top of every little box to check to make sure you get approved. But so our main banks is American Express, Chase, U.S. Bank, and we get people anywhere from 12 to 18 months, sometimes even 21 months of 0% interest funding. So that really helps people who are in a position where they don't quite have the capital, but they know, they have full trust in their vehicle. And it just gives you a runway to just go ahead and leverage. I love that you have that on the side of your building. Just leverage time, because you're basically just getting time, right? When you get a 0% card for $100,000 or whatever, you're able to just fast track the time. If I wanted to do your program and I only had $10,000, but I wanted to do the $35K, then just make it work. Just go all in on you. That's what I believe in.
So tell me about your business model, how your business model runs.
So it's credit profile optimization. So what we do is we take somebody, it doesn't matter what your credit score is or what you've been through, we take your credit profile and we optimize it. We get you to a 750 or above. We get you at least $50,000 in personal credit line. We get you over at least 5 different types of credit cards, and then we make sure you have a good credit mix as well, because the banks want to see very specific things on your credit profile in order to give you a loan. So we make sure that every little I is dotted, every single T is crossed, every box is checked. And then if you don't need any personal funding, we just go to the business funding, and we help you build an entity, an LLC, if you don't already have one. And the banks will allow you from day one, let's just say we build you an entity and you have your EIN number, the banks will allow you to get a business line of credit for that entity from day one, because it's a recourse loan. It's not a non-recourse loan.
Right.
So the good news about that, though, is whenever you bang a credit card on your business, it doesn't affect your personal utilization. It's just backed by you. So you're the one that's responsible for making those minimum payments. So what that allows us to do is between personal and business, we can get somebody like we got a 19-year-old $100,000 last week, and he just got out of high school, but he wants to go all in on house flipping.
Wow.
So it's stuff like that. So it just allows you to just open up.
So what is the optimum credit usage? 30%?
Yeah, anywhere below 30.
Anywhere below 30.
Because
that's what I always thought.
Yes, sir. So if you have, let's just say you have $10,000 in credit limit between a couple of cards, as long as you're below 30 overall, and even like per card. So some people think, well, my utilization is below 30% overall, but one of my cards is at 65%. It's still not a good look to the creditors because each card will tell the bank, whatever bank it's tied to, what your utilization is depending on the card itself. So it's overall and it's specifically per card.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Nice.
sir.
Nice. So, what's the biggest credit facility that you've ever gotten for somebody?
Like, what's the biggest amount of money?
Mm-hmm.
It goes in waves. So the average is anywhere from $70,000 to $100,000 per wave.
Mm-hmm.
So on just one wave, we got somebody about like $160,000 in credit, like credit line. But every 90 days we do it again. So either way, we're going to get you at least $250,000. Some people $500,000 in credit line. And obviously, the bigger the credit amount that you have access to, the better it looks for you and to the banks, especially if you're not using but 30%. So if you need 50 grand, we're going to get you almost $200,000 in funding, so you can stay really low on your utilization, and then you can liquidate that card, get cash. Like you can literally process it and pull the cash out of it, and then put it down on a piece of real estate, or do like an owner finance deal with somebody and give them a little bit of cash to take over.
I like that. Yep. Change the cards? Okay. Dom! What's going on, bro? You gonna change the cards? I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. And say hi to Dom. And then I wanna ask you all about your business. Oh my God. Dom, you fucked me up yesterday, bro. This was pretty open. When we bought the building, this was actually a conference room. And we just changed a little bit and sprayed everything. You know, did the woodwork, did the kitchen,
Strong.
did the cleaned up the bathrooms. The
You've been in
flooring. We took there was a coating. We took the coating off,
Okay.
fixed the backup, put in the swings. You know, put in new AC units so it's cold in here. So put the door in, painted everything black. So, you know, it's kind of a cool space.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So, and this is really, this is where we do our sales.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're hiring setters and closers. So to do our online course sales.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. But it's hard to get setters around here.
Yeah. And you're doing the in-person thing, which I like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we really want people here because once you make a sale, the energy just gets crazy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to make the energy crazy on the
The remote.
chat. So
100%, man. That's one big thing.
we already broke this gong. We got to get a new gong.
Oh,
We're gonna
wow.
Keep on going until we break it more. I'm going to put it up on the wall over there, and we're just going to keep on getting more gongs.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great problem. Break the gong. That means you're getting deals.
Yeah, that was the 35K program. One of the guys broke. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, the sales thing is so important because it's also like if you can control the stats and you can control how much outflow they're doing, and like the setters, right? Like as long as you have a good front end, then you can keep the pipeline full and then put the heat on your closers.
So most of our lead gen comes from either our ad spend or our DMs.
Yeah.
And then we recently, last Friday, we launched what's called, in our school program, we launched a free school. And in the free school, the first thing they get is free school. Then they get a 90-day program. And then they get 4 books by Robert G. Allen,
Okay.
who is the father of all these nothing down programs, okay? And then we nurture them, and then we're in the school working on selling it. Okay. Our new funnel is hopefully it'll be done this week, and that will be an appointment setting funnel. Now, our DMs are usually answered by AI, but the setters can come in and turn it off and work it. And like that little kid with the crazy hair, he's a setter for that guy who left, who said he was, you know, I'm leaving because my head's fucked up. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't get that. Okay?
Me neither.
So, and he's my number one closer. Okay. And Aloe over here is probably the smoothest because it's a program that basically you don't really have to sell, it just sells itself. Because our $3,500 program, we give a money back guarantee.
Oh, wow.
We push you to buy a deal within the first 90 days. We have an additional program, it's called the Revenue Share Program, where we help put up the money for you and do the deal.
Wow.
And we just split the equity 50-50. So, we have so many different ways to get people into deals. You're going to buy a deal. It's not that hard.
Right.
It's people are terrified, and we have to get them out of their own way.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You just gotta decide. You gotta make the decision.
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to move people in the direction to get out of their own way.
Yes, sir.
So,
I respect that.
and it ain't easy.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, to have a money back guarantee is like, that's wild. That's awesome.
Right.
So let me ask you this, like, is there any, because that's tough, right? Because some people, they buy and they don't use it, right? Or they don't put in any work. So do you guys have like some sort of accountability or something to make sure that they're using it? So, okay,
Yeah.
good.
So we monitor them. We force them to put on an offer on a property. We force them to pick a market. So we actually pick 2 markets. We make sure they've gone through the modules, okay? And that's our accountability team. Once somebody signs on, it goes into our automation, and then they're assigned one of the real estate advisors. They do an analysis with them. They do their journey map, and they do their 90-day plan. And then from there, they have access to me on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm on the calls from 12 to 1 on Tuesday, 12 to 1 on Thursday. They have an early training call at 11:30 on Tuesday, and the same thing on Thursday. And then we have multiple calls during the week with the real estate advisors in the premium program. That's the premium side. Then in multifamily, there's 1 call a week, and it's with me on Thursdays. And then the head of our multifamily, his name is Nick Widener. And then they have access to him. And then he does the same half-an-hour pre-call and tutorial. And then I come on, and we get right into deal analysis. We get right into the actual coaching and problem solving. And that's a higher ticket program. That's like a 20K ticket. And then recently we opened up our real high ticket one-on-one mentorship. And quite frankly, I know this is probably an obnoxious thing to say. I think it's cheap at $35K. When a guy like this guy Shane Show, who I actually spoke at his event in Atlanta, he's done $7 million worth of deals. He charges $150,000. And
Wow.
What does Grant charge? I don't know.
One-on-one is like 100K.
One-on-one's 100K. So
It's for 4 hours total.
4 hours one-on-one,
Yeah.
$25K an hour.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, he is the most popular social media real estate influencer. If you look it up by the numbers, based on how many followers he has on Instagram, I believe he's got 4.5 million followers. I was gonna Alan.
Yeah, I can look it up.
All right, we're gonna do it here. Look up the top 10 social media real estate influencers, and look at by the numbers on Instagram. Because I guarantee you that we are at 100. We're at, Chris, what are we at on Instagram for followers? 820. $825. Okay.
Top 10 social media influencers on Instagram.
Grant, number one.
Let me put on for real estate
For real
because there's a bunch of like
Yeah.
Kardashians and shit.
She's so amazing. I'm a huge fan of hers. And you know what? I have actually spoken to her.
Really?
She is the complete opposite of what she portrays. She is so freaking smart.
Really?
That's how she went to law school in 2 years.
That's savage.
People don't know that. And she's actually a very sweet person. So,
Strong.
yeah.
It says number one.
Grant?
No, he's actually number two. Barbara.
Barbara Corcoran?
Yeah.
No way.
That's what it says.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What is it by followers on Instagram?
Let's see here. It says number one by followers on Instagram, Grant Cardone.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
So he's number one. So who's number two?
Real estate.
Does he have 5 million followers?
Let's see. It's not saying, it's just giving me the number of like itemized. It says Ryan Serhant, number two.
He's good.
And then number three, Barbara.
Corcoran?
Yeah, Corcoran.
Yeah.
Number four, Frederick Eklund.
Yeah, he's freaking tall.
And then Chris Crone.
Chris Crone's the man. What, does it have numbers?
Yeah,
On
that's number.
followers? How many does Chris Crone have for followers?
Let me see. I'm going to have to look him up because it's not giving it.
I'm going to prove a point.
665,000.
Okay, how many followers do I have on Instagram? 825,000? So where would we rank then?
Oh, dude, you guys would be. Let me see.
Number 4?
Yeah, let me see. I'm going to see where Barbara's at.
We got more than Barbara.
For sure. Oh, she's got 1.2.
She has 1.2.
Yeah, so
we
you
would fall below Barbara.
You'd be number 4. Yeah.
Why aren't we on that list? Huh?
Yeah, it's behind.
Huh? Fuck them.
I agree.
We got to talk to them. I'm working my ass off. Do you know how much? This is so much harder than real estate.
Oh my gosh.
It is, like, so we're buying a deal in Dallas, 224 units, okay? And my equity partner is Jerry Jones on the deal.
Wow.
You probably have to cut that because I'm under an NDA. But, so we're paying on a deal that's probably worth on rehab about 50 million.
Wow.
We're paying 22 million for the deal.
Oh, wow.
Okay? And I'm like, that deal's easy. It's like, we found the deal, we underwrote it, we went to best and final, okay? It was a marketed deal, but it wasn't on the market, and somebody tied it up, they couldn't close, then they went again, somebody tied it up, they couldn't close, and we said, look, we'll just write you a check for the deal, and we'll close on it, and they finally came back to us and said, all right, after the third go around with all these jerks that don't know what they're doing, and now we're proceeding to close, and we didn't write a check for it, we just got agency financing.
There you go.
So, and our equity piece is small. It's like a $4 million check. Similar to the way Grant would finance his deals. I mean, I know he's doing all cash with his new Reg A's and so forth, but he pays cash and then he puts agency financing on it. 65, 70% loan to value. We're not going to stress it out. We're going to have cash flow. We're just going to let the thing tick along, do our costs. seg study, pass all the losses back to the partners, and never pay a nickel in freaking taxes to Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
So, not like so hard to do. This, okay, is I get up at 4:30. I write my thoughts down. I come up with, how I'm feeling emotionally, and I write all this motivation shit, okay? Recently, I went through a traumatic experience of getting married to somebody that I fell madly in love with, and she turned out to be a very different person, con artist. And I wish her the best. I pray for her. I hope she finds her way in life, but it's not going to be with me. So our marriage was 20 days.
Wow.
And it kind of knocked me on my ass. And then, the beauty of having some great children and, having people around here that love me, and a good friend like Dom, and, that support me. I shook it off, and was fortunate enough to start to have some other, special women in my life, and then I met one that's really like just most amazing person, and I didn't realize how crazy it was to have someone I fell so deeply in love with not even give two shits about me.
Yeah.
It was all about the money, okay? And I'm number 6 that she's done this to. I'm only husband number 3. But I would have done anything to solve her problems. I would have, if she was willing to get help, I would have did all that. And it's just like a deal. A deal doesn't work. You got to retrade it.
100%.
So I'm doing a retrade, and I'm upgrading to the new Lambo.
There you go.
Okay, this one is actually, you know what? I'm a Porsche guy. This woman is a GT3. Okay, gorgeous, competitive tennis player, an amazing listener, so incredibly articulate, and sweet, genuine.
Yeah.
person. So, and I will tell you that being able to teach this real estate to people has really kind of changed me, because we've got in our program about 700 people. And we started this June 20th of last year.
Wow.
So we're almost a year old for our school, our program. And we've done now over $46 million in transactions, 132 deals as of last week. I don't know what the deal count is. And, we've got, there's one bad deal in there. We're trying to fix it. The guy came to us, bought into the program, and then closed on a deal. And he didn't even give us the opportunity to do deal analysis. So hopefully we'll be able to straighten out his deal. We're going to try everything. We're going to try to apply every single concept that I know and every single concept that I forgot. So hopefully we can get that done.
It's wild.
So.
Just like helping people, like just knowing that you're helping people. There's something about actually helping people that really it's fulfilling. Mm-hmm. Like me and my guy Alec with Vault Group, we helped a guy. He was paying like 27% interest on credit cards. He had like a $10,000 balance, and he was just paying interest payments. And we got him balance transferred to 0%, 21 months, and like just to see the relief on the guy. Like just to go off of your point, like when you help somebody close their first deal, or you're helping so many people, you have 700 people in your class, like you're changing lives. So I stand behind that 100%. So whenever you can just help somebody genuinely, there's just something even more than the monetary value that I feel like that I get from helping people. It's almost like, it's not, it's almost like a selfish thing to me. Like, wow, I helped that person. I feel good about myself. Obviously, making money is great too, though, right? But like, really helping somebody. I mean, you can save somebody $3,000 a year on balance transferring a card, or you can help somebody achieve what a drip feels like for the first time in their life.
My first student, Lydia Walker.
Yeah.
We tried to do the first deal in Mobile. It was a wholesale deal.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to close in 2 days. I told her no. You needed to do due diligence.
100%.
Second deal was in St. Louis, Missouri. Contracted, and they would not give us an inspection. The deal had a fire. Trying to pull the okey doke on us.
Yeah.
Third deal, St. Louis, Missouri. It went as planned. She paid 34. She put 35 into it. She refinanced it at $150,000 value. Took out 106, and did it again. But she bought a fourplex.
Boom.
Applied all the same concepts. The fourplex, she pushed the value about $380,000
Wow.
on the deal, and used that capital. Took it out, bought a house at the same time, got married, and then bought the 18-unit deal. And she got about $8,200 in cash flow.
Wow.
And no experience, no nothing.
That's
Started from
amazing.
nothing. But she's a really amazing girl. So,
Yeah.
and she's got the support of her husband now. Started out as boyfriend, then fiance, then now husband.
Yeah, now he's really sold on it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So here's the question.
Yes, sir.
You do this, and you do this funding to help high ticket offers. How do you do that?
Yeah, so for instance, what it looks like for us, so we would find somebody like you who has a high ticket offer.
Yep.
And there are a lot of, because I mean, I've been in sales for 4 years, so I used to be a closer, and one of the biggest things was just access to capital. First of all, is like if they have to borrow money to get into the program, then their next objection is, oh God, how am I going to be able to afford doing what the program is to do if I can't even afford the program in the first place? So what we do at the Vault Group is we position their profile to where money is no longer an issue as far as getting access to capital, but there's also a bit of education in there as well, to where they're never in a bad position with their credit. Because there's, believe it or not, a stat that I heard the other day that blew my mind is that 100% of Americans have a credit score. Less than 7% of Americans know how to optimize it. So if you know how to actually position yourself, how to get your utilization correct, how to have a good credit mix, then getting access to 40, 50 grand for a program that's actually going to help you like yours is not so hard. And then the next objection the client's going to have is, well, okay, if I get 40 grand and I spend it on Mr. Shapiro's program, where's my money for my down payment? Where's my money for my rehab? Or where's my money for my piece of real estate? We can help with that too, because we position you to get conventional loans, hard money loans, or even if you wanted to, a business line of credit that we could liquidate and help you put down. You'd have about 18 to 21 months of runway for that, but that's not the general ideal situation. But if you needed money between now and 18 months, we could do that as well. So to answer your question is, we just make the client more we just make the client more capable to be able to then invest in themselves with the program. So that because you can just print money. Like we did over 500K in the last 2 weeks in funding.
That's a lot.
Yes, sir.
That is a lot. So it's funny because, like my friend Albert Persiato, okay,
Yes, sir.
who sells a high ticket closing offer, and they have like 20 different credit cards that they get their guys, and it's like they don't turn down any sale.
Right.
Now, what we do is if we can't get them a credit card, we have our own in-house financing. So I hold the paper on that.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like our wholesale program, it's a $997 program, we break it into 3 payments.
It's awesome.
I would really love to learn to optimize that. And when we're done, I'm going to get you on the phone with my chief operating officer.
Yes, sir.
So, because we have enough in the way of flow, but helping people optimize that is because we use Split It, we use Afterpay, we use
Klarna.
Flow.
Klarna, Flow.
Klarna. What else do we use?
Affirm.
Yeah, Affirm, in-house financing. Yeah. So, and I know they do the Amex. I think there's 6 Amexes, but I don't think we've ever actually used one. I know.
We can definitely help you with that, man. That's just what we do, and it's easy. And there's ways, like, it's cool because once you learn the system, everyone's like, oh, I don't want a hard inquiry. Amex is offering where you can do a pre-approval, so you don't get hit until you accept the card. And then once you accept the card, you can actually apply for the second one within that first inquiry within 24 hours. So you can get 2 cards on 1 inquiry, and that generally is anywhere between $25,000 and $55,000. So it's just easy, 0%, 15 months. But yeah, that's just what we do. We just make sure that, like, the first step is the decision and then the desire, right? Once they have that and they see that you can solve the problem, the next step is just
What's the minimal credit score you can get somebody a card?
680.
680 is the minimum.
Yeah, but our program is basically we get them from anywhere. Like I funded a guy that started at 550. So generally, unless it's like some really bad stuff like bankruptcy or something, generally it's utilization, too many inquiries, or a late payment or something, and you can always just get that removed and we can get them up.
Got it.
So there is no credit score that's too doomed. Like it just takes time sometimes.
Right.
Like anything.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
All right. If you want the world to know something about you, if you're willing to share that,
Yeah.
tell them.
Wow, if I want the world to know
Because this
something.
podcast is going to go out to a few people.
Yes, sir.
Because we do get some people that follow us, and we get some traction.
Yes, sir. That's a great question. I would say that everything that most people have taught about money, how to make money, how to keep it, how to multiply it, real estate, working, it's just a system that's built to keep you small. There's a better way to do it. So if I could share anything to the world, it would be that there is a better way to make money, to take care of your family, and to take care of your loved ones, and to set up a way for the golden goose to actually lay golden eggs versus you feeling like a slave every single day and trading your time for money, and that's it. Like, there is a way to build a machine that keeps reproducing.
Nice.
It's where you can have freedom.
And that's real estate and finance.
Yes, sir. And that is real estate.
Nice. So where are you going to be in 60 months? How many units are you going to have?
Oh, man. I would like to break the 100, man. Like, I would love to.
In 60 months?
Oh, in 60 months.
Yeah.
My fault.
Bro, you better have a fucking 1,000 units.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, because it's going to just go faster and faster. I'd like to have 250 units, men.
It scales fast.
Yeah.
It scales fast. You bought the 10 unit.
Yeah.
Next deal you're going to buy is 30.
Yep.
Then from the 30 you're going to buy 100. And
Sure.
then you're going to only start looking at bigger deals.
Yes, sir.
So,
It's
and
the
I'll
way to
give you
roll.
one piece of advice. Never force a deal.
Never force a deal.
Just let the deals evolve organically.
That's good.
Yep. Never put a square peg in a round hole. Every time I did that, I lost money. So
Wow. So like the rush deals, like they're like, we need to close in 10 days.
stay away from those. There's always something wrong with it.
That's good.
They're always trying to fuck you. And brokers are full of shit. They're all liars.
I agree.
They're all liars. So, guys, Ray Butler, he's a beast. And if you don't follow him, let me tell you where you can follow him. Where can they follow you?
It's raybutler.c on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everything.
Nice. And you guys know where to follow me, okay? You can follow me to the gym. You can follow me to the dry cleaners. You can follow me to the beach, okay? But just don't call me late for dinner. Let's go, baby. Chris, you look fucking bored.